talking, so like I know the recording is there, but I'm never going to the link.
So sometimes
Never.
great fun. Gabriela, it's great fun listening to the conversations. I don't get too much time to do it, but whenever I've done it, it brings a smile to my face. Always. It's really enjoyable, those conversations that we have.
I don't
But
know. It takes courage to listen to oneself, I think.
try it today. Maybe some earlier session you should try that. One of these events or something. Okay.
Maybe.
But
So
Gabby,
I can.
yeah.
Sorry.
So Gabby, I was just telling Gabby that before she came in, Gabriela was telling me about those 4 deans that you are going to be contact. So it's those colleges.
Yeah.
So
I didn't. I don't know what she said.
Yes,
she's
we
just
lost
coming.
you, Gabby.
She said
Something
one
happened.
Just
minute,
a
I
minute,
guess.
1 minute, 1 minute. So Alfredo, what we're trying to do is, let's see, the idea is at least one college, one school, one organization, one community. That is the target. So Gabriela and Gabby
Wow.
they've been able to identify 4 deans of colleges whom they are going to contact. So even if one college we start, look, the multiplier effect, this is how it will come. One college, create it there, and those college students obviously do it within themselves, but they take it into their families and communities. So they create something there. And then those people in that community are in workplaces, in businesses. It goes from there into that. And that's how the multiplier effect in terms of the culture is how I'm looking at it.
Great, great. It sounds very, very interesting. The community, the academic community in Ecuador is rather small, and it is not that we know each other and everybody else, but we almost do. So
That's what we
so
keep trying to tell Vikram. I think he doesn't believe us.
yeah. Oh, okay. If you think about colleges and universities, I can think of I taught there years ago, or my wife teaches there, or I have several friends at law school there. So, and that will happen in most universities in Quito. It's something that is interesting. Is perhaps we should always have an eye on Guayaquil, which is the second largest city in Ecuador. Sometimes like it was larger, I don't know, we're about the same size. And that is an additional business community and academic community and legal community. So that is very important if we can at some point reach out for them.
Which is the place?
Guayaquil is the
Francisco
Quito is the
Alarcón
capital.
is from Guayaquil.
The one that Francisco was in the other session, Vikram, the last one that
Okay,
you
Francisco from
remember.
Guayaquil, yes, yes.
But
And
He's the
that,
only Guayaco we have.
maybe we can talk with Jaime Moreno from Cuenca to get Cuenca in.
Cuenca would be the third city, but Francisco is very good. He could definitely he's very well connected, and he can promote this in Guayaquil gladly. He will do it
Also,
very well.
Francisco, I saw that he's working in somewhere in Europe in this like mediation country.
He's right now in the ICC in the competition of mediation in Paris.
Okay, yeah, in Paris, yes.
Yeah.
How I look at it is, as I see, there are 70 universities in Ecuador with 61,000 students. So that is our target there. One.
Actually, we were talking with Gabby to go to actually the private college here in Ecuador, some of them
Yes.
that have mediation centers into this college. So it's easier for us to get an approach with them and see what happened in between. I don't know.
So say even if we just start with one. So that's one target. College is one target. The other is, of course, any one community that you can identify. So let's just that one conversation. I'm just saying that one conversation to start there. So we just get those people. So the next gathering we have, at least we have those people who are identified. And Alfredo, what we're looking at is not that they are practicing mediators. These are people who are practicing mediation, but they're not these professional mediators. We're trying to identify those people who are there in schools, colleges, and communities who are already helping people resolve disputes. So they're already doing mediation without knowing that they're doing mediation. So we're starting from that grassroots onwards, getting those people together, and then we'll take them forward in relation to if there's skill development required, that will happen. Anything else that they need support on will be available. But creating
Okay.
those mediation circles around these people in the schools, colleges, and communities, so that every local, I mean, every school will have a circle, and those people are identified, and we create that atmosphere that, okay, some fight or disagreement, why don't you bring this person in? So that's how it is planned.
Well, but actually the idea, Alfredito, is just not to do it in school. We can make a commercial mediation group too. So all depend the area you want to work.
But Alfredo, have you gone through the various mediation circles which have been created?
No, and I have to apologize. I haven't done that. And I'll do that. I'll do that for
No,
sure.
no, I will take you through it. I like to do a little quick slideshow. But if you do go
Yes.
to, if you go to mediatorvikram.com, you will find the list there. So
Yes.
and then I'll take you through the ones, because whatever has been done, I've launched the global ones, and each of them then we launch in Ecuador. So like commercial mediation, so international commercial mediation circle, then we have an Ecuador commercial mediation circle. So the idea being that one, people who are practicing in that area, they come in, but also let's bring in the users. I mean, potential users in terms of maybe legal heads in companies and commercial heads and all, and let's ask them what's really happening, if they're using it, not using it, what are the issues. So there'll be one circle separately. And Roque is here. Roque is someone who wants to do that international reflective practice. So we have to start that. Yes, Gabriel, why are you laughing? He said that
We've talked to each other so many times that we kind of know what others say. So you said Roque is here, and I was thinking he was going to say that he wants to do something disruptivo. So that's why I was smiling. I was thinking that Roque is here.
So,
Hello, everybody. I am sorry I was a little bit late.
It's perfectly all right. I think anytime you come in. But with the reflective practice circle, when are we starting that? When do you want to announce that?
I want to join
Yes.
that one.
Yeah. So
Which one?
the
The
reflective practice circle.
practice.
Basically, we just coming and talking about your practice or anything that you faced, whatever's happened, all that thing. Just now more on learning from each other's experiences, but also being able to.
Actually, Michael told me that maybe he will jump to the in the session.
No, I told him that look, this Ecuador Mediation Circle is only for people from Ecuador.
Oh.
I told him I'll invite you for the Ecuador Reflective Practice Circle. We'll invite him for that.
But Vikram, you would like to invite everyone, and let's invite everyone. Why are you
Then
being so
every
selective?
every meeting is every gathering is going to be for the World Mediation Circle because that's what it's going to become. Let the World Mediation Circle gathering happen, and then we'll get everyone into that. And here that's because look, slowly, I'm saying the language should also move towards Spanish. I'm okay with that, and everyone should be comfortable in however.
Yeah, you are mean because I said to Michael, okay, you're welcome. You can jump in. We were waiting for you in the session.
But that's okay, Gabby, because now you're the good guy and Vikram is the bad guy. So
Yeah.
that's
And
good.
everyone knows that. Michael knows that. I'm a clear bad guy. I just say
If
it
you
like
ask me, that's perfect. The roles are well established.
Look, I tell you why I'm trying to also, when Roque wants to create, okay, reflective practice is important. But Michael, we bring in because look, I bring him at a later stage because that is a very structured approach, maybe. And I don't want it to go totally towards that direction. There has to be first that informality of being able to at least start that conversation within each other. That is okay. That is something that he's done, and he'll bring in that expertise, and we'll see how that goes. So first that video, Roque, did you have a look at that video, that reflective practice one?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it, and I've been asking also some people that could join us. I started by thinking specifically on the side of mediation that this I think there's a very important practice here in Ecuador that is we could say kind of small scale mediation related principally with family law that is very common. And that kind of mediation is subject to lots of discussions about good practices. So I think that's a good start. I talked to two of my partners that work in this area, and I think we could start by doing discussions with them about good practices and starting the discussion about these issues. We could keep on thinking about new aspects and new issues because we got very good aspects. For example, Ximena is a very good example, and I think also Gabriel is a very good example in mediation with the state in Ecuador, and that's kind of another place where you can talk about reflective aspects of how to mediate in those areas. And I think there are many different aspects in Ecuadorian law because the other thing of Ecuadorian law is that you got the advantage that here in Ecuador it's also easy or easier to execute what you agree. And I don't completely agree with that, with what I just said, but I think it's also an important part of the process because here the agreement is the equivalent to a resolution of a judge. So that's also something that from another perspective develops other good practices about mediation. For example, I think that even though you got this opportunity to execute the agreement in an easier way than in other countries, you also have to be very careful with the agreement and have good practices about how to keep the agreement executable without going to the justice system or without in making the justice system part of the execution of the agreement. So I think that's another important part of the discussion, but we could also add many other aspects or new aspects, I think, that could relate with other things we have not thought in Ecuador. For example, well, certain things are being thought but not yet developed at a great scale, like, for example, technologies applied or how to work co-mediation. I think there are very interesting aspects that could be related with that. How to, for example, manage emotions. I think that's another interesting aspect in many cases. Well, and I think there are other many interesting discussions. We even thought, and we discussed in another group we have with Gabi and Alfredo about the possibility of also discussing about certain practices that come from other countries, but that also have to reflect in a different way in Ecuadorian culture, because Ecuador is a multicultural country from the constitution itself and historically, but in a different way than other countries, because we got here indigenous people, indigenous cultures, and well, that makes it different from other countries. And I think there's another interesting aspect as well to discuss about the vision or the culture involved in certain processes that also I think changes the way you manage a mediation in certain aspects. So, well, I think there's a lot that could be discussed. We could start doing like I think a plan of how to do it forward. I talked, as I said, with two mediators from the Mediation Center of Ponce, and we could start discussing certain aspects with them in the first meeting, but we can keep on adding topics that could be related to this reflection about good practices in mediation that are being developed in Ecuador and that could be developed further thinking also globally about the specific situation Ecuador is in with its laws particularly.
Because way I look at it is that you have lots to teach the world about mediation, because you people are doing wonderful work in relation to mediation. I always keep saying, so many of my events, I've always said that what you people are doing in Ecuador, I think, and also what I was told by Ximena and Gabby also, is that it's not that mediation developed through the court system. And they were saying that mediation developed by people experiencing mediation. And that's what the world really needs. And that's why, I mean, with the government, insolvency, all these things that you people are doing, the people are still waking up to all those things. So I think, I mean, for in your case, all this, then Peru with what the Luis was doing about these mining projects and all. That work is not happening everywhere. So there's so much that that's why I think that within Ecuador, let's get what all is happening. And then when we have that, get other people in, let's not feel that, oh, we have to pick up from there. No, we have so much to give to everyone. And that's the way I look at it.
Actually, I think Ecuador is one of the few countries around the world that the mediation is not mandatory before going to a trial. And nobody gets that outside from Ecuador and say, oh, how can you manage so many cases in Ecuador and it's not mandatory? So they don't, I don't know, see the reality of the mediation here in Ecuador. And we have to share that with the world, as you said, Vikram.
Yeah, that's very important. But Roque said a lot of interesting things. One is about the aspect of the agreement and how important it is, because it's as good as a court decree, shit like that. So, as part of the Ecuador Mediation Circle, because we have the mediators, we have the peacemakers, and we have participants. And participants are those people who feel that disputes should be resolved amicably. So, I'm saying bring in lawyers also who have that mindset. And then in mediations, because look, I've been trying to say that we don't have to have lawyers in mediations. They are not required as participants in the mediation. Bring them in when they are required, which could be maybe it's a legal issue that needs to be discussed, or whatever needs to be discussed. Bring them in as experts. But when it comes to a settlement agreement, why not have people who can actually draft a nice, fair agreement? Because sometimes what happens is both the sides lawyers come out with something, and then that actually sometimes creates an issue finally, because they put something there, they put a clause there, the other one will not agree to it, and finally it kind of sometimes breaks down the mediation also. So why not have such lawyers also as part of the Ecuador Mediation Circle, who might not be practicing as mediators, but we know that if they are brought in to draft a settlement agreement, it will be something that they have looked at both sides, and they've put out a fair settlement agreement after discussing with them also the structure. The structure is important so that tomorrow there should not be any issue when it comes down to if enforcement is required. We are saying, look, generally it's not really required. I mean, I don't know how many, there must be rare cases which that happens. So is that an idea which, Alfredo, any thoughts on that? Because Alfredo says, look, I'm largely, I don't do too much mediation, but we still want you as part of the mediation circle. So as a lawyer, part of a mediation circle who's not doing mediations, you also have an important role to play. What do you think?
Yes, well, mediation has developed in Ecuador also, I think, a lot through the law and also through training. There's been a lot of mediation training in Ecuador. And I don't know if it was something like only I don't know how to call it a fashion, but it came a time when everybody was taking a mediation course. So there are hundreds of attorneys in Ecuador that have gone through mediation training, but they don't have where to practice. They don't and at the same time there's a lot of conflict, of course, infinite conflict in society. So it will be very interesting if something could be done to be a matchmaker between a lot of people who has been already trained as mediators but would like to practice, and also address conflict in the more efficient way.
Because Alfredo, the issue has been, and this is not just Ecuador, but Gabriela wanted to come in before I could come in, because the training word, whenever it's mentioned, I have to jump in. Gabriela, you want to go in? I want to talk about the training, but after you, please.
No, I was going to say that, well, we all know that you have like courses all around and people are mediators now. But for me, for example, it's really tough when you have a lawyer that is a mediator. I say with quotation marks because they supposedly had the training, but they don't look like mediators in their attitude, in what they are saying. And for me, it's a challenge. Now that we are talking about reflecting, like let's be reflective. And you are trying to mediate and help people and whatever, and you do something and they answer like, I know that, like, I'm a mediator too. And it's like, pow, a big wall. And that becomes a challenge instead of having someone that you feel that you're working with. I find it better when lawyers are mediators, but they don't tell you. And then you see these people that are working wonderfully in the table, and they are being so humanistic in their approach. And that's what I like, when they don't tell me I'm a mediator, but they actually look like a mediator, and they talk, and the dialogue is fabulous. And when Alfredo was talking, I was thinking about that.
Yeah. Because the thing is, Alfredo, what has happened really is that not just Ecuador, I think everywhere in the world, training is the major business in relation to mediation. Practice of mediation is not so much as that business of training. And that actually has created issues for mediation also, because everyone said, come in, we'll make you a mediator in 40 hours. And you don't make mediators in 40 hours. You are what you are because of so many things that you've gone through. Your mindset, it's a mindset which you cannot just go, oh, I'll make you a mediator. So that's been my issue, and I've been talking about it. That's why this whole mediation circle and the grassroots activity, let's bring the people who have the mindset. This training word I don't like to use because they have the skill. Now we are saying, okay, they might need skill development. Best way of skill development is to practice. That's the best way of skill development. So create opportunities for them to practice. So even at the college level, starting from there or in communities, give them an opportunity to actually go out and give them that confidence that you have the skill. Talk to people to find out if they, okay, they don't trust you. Maybe sometimes in the community you go out as a college student and say, I want to help you. But I have had cases, there is a college in India which set it up, and there's a college student, he says he's already helped 2 family members actually resolve things. So they're doing it there, it's all happening. So let's bring those people out. They go out into communities, into their families, and then tell them that, look, why don't you attempt mediation? If they don't trust them, then they have professional mediators like all of you available. So they bring you in, but don't bring those students in as people to shadow you. Bring them in as co-mediators. So they're like co-mediators. They have your support, but at the same time, they also have that relationship with the people in dispute because they are connected with them through their family or their communities. So give them that opportunity to actually practice, because I don't like this whole role play kind of thing, because this is not a drama. This is real life. These are real emotions, and that's what they have to learn to handle. I never have been able to understand this role play. How do I even do it? I mean, if I have to do theater, then let me do theater. I don't want to do this. This is real people. So sometimes I feel that if we give them the opportunity, they'll pick it up and they have the support. And that's how the circles also grow. The people come in, and at the same time, the people who have the skill get an opportunity to practice. So there's so many conflicts, disputes out there which never, I mean, they're just lying there. But it can actually be picked up and taken forward.
I always like to think of this mediation training like in 3 different levels. One is the classical legal training. Legal means how the mediation law says, what the regulations of center says. That is more a legal approach to mediation. Another one will be the skills approach to mediation. That is the regular training to teach you how to do an introduction speech, how to manage certain circumstances, how to ask, how to communicate, etc., etc. That is the classic training that you get in these mediation courses. But the third level, I believe it's something that does not depend as much on training, but it has to do with kindness. It has to do with your own moral approach to people, with empathy, compassion, with other traits that cannot be taught. I mean, they could in a way, and that can be learned in life, yes, but in a way it's something more personal, and that is a. I was thinking on these three levels also, how I'm running to a different topic. Artificial intelligence will be able to get in the legal aspects. Perhaps we can have a good ChatGPT mediator at some point, but the human side probably will not be replaced. So I think there's a lot of future for what we're doing, and even the legal world will work more towards that end.
So all those things that you said, because you don't know, I will take you through the things that I've done, and all those aspects in a way have been covered. Because what we're doing is we're starting from the third category that you said. People who have that, I mean, they feel empathy, they feel that compassion. They don't have to be told how to show empathy. So there are people who have that. So first we're starting with them. And those people who are already out there practicing it. So we've got the right kind of person. So, and because you can't, yes, Gabriel, because I know,
No, sorry. No, I was going to say that I do think that you teach some things at some point. Like when I told Inés Maria, what did you feel, or what happened, or what do you think I feel? Like maybe grown adults are not taught, but I do think that you bring some things from people with different attitudes. Like I try to think that I help my daughter be a better mediator in the future. So that's
no, because
that's what I was thinking.
she's
Yeah.
seeing you with the way you conduct yourself. That's what I'm saying. This whole concept of evolution of a mediator, which was Alfredo, the first series that I started. The first is all my shows started with evolution of a mediator series, and the idea was that mediators are not made in 40-hour factories. They're the way, first of all, genetic structure, then the value systems that they have around them, which could be from their grandparents, their parents, then whatever circumstances and experience that they go through makes them who they are, and they're evolving all the time. So it's not that you are today, okay, I am everything. No, every day you are learning and be able to. So this reflective practice comes up as part of that. You're reflecting in general about life all the time. I mean, I'm saying people with that mindset are doing that at every point of time. So there is that kind of person. We don't know what all goes into that person, but there is lots that goes into them. So I have spoken about heart, soul, spirituality. I had one symposium on that also. Energy that people bring in. There's so many aspects of people that you can't put down to some theoretical aspect. It is to be experienced by people, and that's what is happening. So that's one part. This when you have the right people, the training part of it to take them through the process, I've never tried to do that, because I just feel that people know how to handle it. When you have the right person, they'll handle it. And because to put down people into categories and say, okay, you can structure a process in this manner, I feel it's still a box that you are creating, and sometimes that becomes a limitation to people also. So they'll take it the way they have to. And of course, on the legal part of it, as to what the country's legislation and all that is, that definitely is important. We did a symposium on mediation legislation, but what we'll do is we'll create a document also, and every country's legislation, we'll keep updating it there, so you know what it is. And I mean, we can also all have a session where someone can talk about it also. So that, but artificial intelligence is important, Alfredo. There is a artificial intelligence mediation circle also. We've launched that.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
why this is important is
Who
because
was the person in charge of that, Vikram, your friend? I don't remember his
no,
name.
Martin was someone who had said that he wants to do something about it, but he realized that
Ah.
there is a lot of work there. Because what I told him was that we are going to create a platform specifically for conflict resolution. So one, all the content in terms of books and everything are put down there. And already they have artificial intelligence has a lot of content which they've picked up. But what I want to do is, as we go along, mediators to be able to record their experiences in relation to the mediation, so they can put a little summary of the mediation, and then whatever thoughts they want to put in. So the reflective practice part of it can also comes into a certain extent. Then what came out of it? So the issue is there, what the process went out like, what your thoughts on that were, and finally what the solution was. If every mediator in the world starts putting that, and that content is available to an artificial intelligence, so actually at the end, Alfredo, was why this came up was, and it comes down to mediators not being made in 40-hour factories, because I say if they can be made in 40-hour factories today, the chat GPT or other artificial intelligence platforms can already do it. You don't need to program people. Machines are already programmed. So what we did was in the World Mediators Conference, which happens in May, we actually did a session. So there were two people there. They put out their issue. I opened chat GPT right there. It was a live session. So I put it out there. They put the issue there and just realized it can actually give you a very good output. So every person.
Actually, ChatGPT is really good for when you ask for a question, like opening questions, and they're really good. I'm giving you excellent idea how to manage some.
No, everything. Gabby, everything. You can just ask ChatGPT to be the mediator. The point is that mediators sometimes feel that no, it can't be done. But I'm saying that if you are programming people, instead try this. And everyone in the world has access to that. So why not give them that opportunity to do it? And the people, when the aspect of that person and what that person brings in, the human aspect of it, that is what is important, and that's why we have to have the right people. So it goes back to what Alfredo says. The third category, which I call the first category, are the people who have all that we would want in that mindset. And they bring in that energy and heart, soul, spirituality, all those aspects. But what I had to do was, Alfredo, I wanted to take him through because he hasn't had a look. So one, Alfredo, mediatorvikram.com is one thing. But Roque, what I've done is in the chat, I've put the link to the reflective practice session of Michael Lang. So you can have a look at the way he goes about
Yes.
it. So I was Roque because he was. So Alfredo, this is for you because Roque and Gabby and Gabriela have always seen this enough times. So I'll do it a little quickly. So every country has one. So this is like the India one and what we're doing Ecuador. But then we have circles like this. So the World Indigenous Peoples Mediation Circle. So under that, we'll have an Ecuador Indigenous Peoples Mediation Circle. So there's a lot of activity, which would you said in terms of Ecuador, the indigenous people. So we have to create circles within them also. And then in relation to what issues they might feel in terms of integration into society. I don't know what Ecuador's dynamics are. We can always discuss that. But their best practices also to be picked up from indigenous people.
Sorry for interrupting, but that is extremely important in our country. That is actually we have had a very difficult conflicts regarding the situation of the indigenous communities and organizations, and that is extremely relevant.
Yeah. So immediately let's see who all want to work on that aspect of it, and let's put out the Ecuador mediation, indigenous peoples mediation circle. Yes. Gabriela, we have to start also putting that out. So we'll put up. I had taken
But
everyone through.
It has to be 20 Milla because I can't think of someone else that can have like a.
Yeah. So let's put that out. We'll create that.
Yeah.
So then there's reflective practice, what we just spoke about. So we'll have a Ecuador reflective practice circle. Then we have the International Commercial Mediation Circle. We'll have the Ecuador Commercial Mediation Circle. Then the UN Sustainable Development Goals Mediation Circle. To achieve the goals, mediation is going to be important in terms of collaboration to achieve goals. And I feel mediators have a very important role to play there. So to highlight that, where all it can be done. So we'll have this circle talk about that, and then we'll put it out to various stakeholders and see where all mediation can fit in. Then we have the World Refugee Mediation Circle. Now, Ecuador, what the situation in relation to mediation to refugees is, but a lot of countries, again, integration into society is an important aspect of it. So people definitely have worked on that. So similarly, we'll do that. What is refugee an issue? Refugee is an issue in Ecuador?
Yeah, it is.
Well, yeah, there are like, I don't know, several 100,000 people from Venezuela immigrating from Venezuela in the last few years. It's definitely an issue.
Yeah, so this will also, I think, will be important to put out, because again, the learnings from one to the other. Then organization mediation circle, every organization to have a mediator. We have to put that out there. But at the same time, to build capacity within organizations. So at all points of time, Alfredo, the thing was that the kind of people that we are looking for, there are not so many of them in the world. With that mindset, they bring in, I mean, look, I always start with being good human beings. that's that's is the starting point. So how many of them can we find then who have that skill also? They bring in every aspect. I won't want to number them out into they bring this or that, because there's so much there that they bring, and to put it down into specifics would be in a way disrespecting those people. But we know this is a package, and that's why I keep saying, whom do people trust? We are just asking them. And when they say they trust so much so and so, they've looked at the entire package. So and they also will not know why do they trust this person to help them resolve something. They won't be able to answer it. You just trust this person. So that's all good enough for us. So our starting point is asking people whom they trust. So I'm saying within organizations also, similar thing to happen. What we are doing in schools, colleges, and communities, we do that in organizations also, because finally the capacity building will happen with people who are part of those organizations to be brought in within organizations for say issues within, say, workplace disputes. So they have the right people right there, but they have the support of the external mediator. So whenever the external mediator has to be brought in, can be brought in, because the numbers in relation to the kind of people that we are looking for, we won't find so many. So they have to in some way develop those people who are already there, bring them out, and within the organization develop a culture of mediation, so that even when they have issues with an external party, in that situation, these people who are already within the organization can sit into those meetings to be able to resolve it right there. It cannot be done, bring in the external mediator. So it's going to be that kind of a concept that I'm trying to develop, which is, I mean, we're going to have a culture. To develop that culture is going to take some time, but we'll do it. So family mediation circle, and bring in people who are working in that family mediation area, but also every family to create a mediation circle. We have to go down to that. That's how the whole thing develops.
Mm.
And then this is a game that Milano has developed for people to experience mediation. I mean, experience conflict resolution. Look at it that way. So at least by playing the game, so you're not teaching them anything, but he's through general principles of conflict resolution and game theory and everything, created a game. So all the launches of these circles are available. I'll take you through the website where you can find the links to the YouTube, that recording. So school, college, global. Similarly, the Ecuador ones will have to happen. Gabriela is working on the school thing, and Gabriela working on the college thing. So we'll see something happening. But the next time we meet, we'll see that. So all these issues, environmental, climate change, natural disaster, sustainability, all of them at the local level. So it's not just at the Ecuador level, down to that school also, to create that circle within the school community, to create it in that community, because what happens at the local level affects global, and global affects local. So that's important. Then issues like this, Israel Palestine mediation circle, we've done that. Then okay, different countries, Barbados. This is a college which has created it. And again, why I keep pointing this out is they're not calling it mediation. They connect with the word Sule. That's the word for them, which is someone coming to help them resolve something. So that we use that word. Similarly, in Ecuador, if there's a word that people connect with, let them use that word. I mean, the idea is not to push the word, it's the process and the people that we are putting. So this is that artificial intelligence mediation circle. So lots of discussions to happen here. And then, okay, then Turkey, again, this is a book that Ecuador, we did that launch. This is a community here where I live in, Ghana. So they're country-wise. So then there are different countries. Okay, this is Ken's book. This is the Greece one. Okay, this is, I have various shows also, Alfredo, which is one of them is called talking books, because some of us don't read them. because I don't read them. So that's why the series, to talk to authors about their books. So there are lots of other shows. You'll find that on the website. France, Ireland, Kazakhstan. We have this today. We're doing Greece, so coming up, gatherings. So there are launches and the gatherings, and then we have the country-wise. So Peru, all this. So all these circles are coming up. So you'll find the links on the website of the launches. You must try and watch. I mean, at least I keep telling people at least what Ken Cloak puts out there. Please try and watch that, because those words of wisdom with that experience of his should be watched. So on the website here, you'll find the various circles which have been launched, and you'll find the YouTube links to the launches here. Here you'll find whatever happens in the month, or every month, the activities which are happening. So you'll find that here. So you can actually, of course, the recording links are here. Similarly, you'll find the same thing for last year, the year before that. In some of these, like the World Mediation Conference, the World Mediators Conference, you'll find a link to a schedule. That schedule will open up with the names of the speakers and the YouTube links to all the sessions. So I think we had 80 plus sessions in the last World Mediators Conference of various topics. So the idea is that the people who are participating, they give the topic. So all of you are going to participate in that, and you'll choose the topic. And whoever wants to then join that discussion, they can join that discussion. So that's going to start on the 18th of May. So what I'll do is I'll put out a schedule, and then you can put out, okay, this time slot, I want to talk about this. And then that gets circulated, and whoever wants to come in for that discussion comes in. Okay, so too much, too fast.
Yeah, I would like to know a little bit more about this reflection mediators, or something like that.
Reflective.
Circle, what is that about? Because I like very much the theoretical approach towards mediation. Is that something that will fit within that circle?
The reflective practice one is actually about their personal experiences in relation to mediation that mediators have, and they talk about that part of it, which is what Roque is going to be creating, that mediation circle. The theoretical part of it, look, in terms of the process, I've tried to kind of stay away from it, because I still feel that it kind of sometimes what happens is that people get limited in the way they think because someone else put something out, and I feel that the right person experiencing it will, they know how to do it, so they'll be able to do it. But theoretical part of it, in terms of, what would your interest be?
Well, what I would like to think or research on is issues like what is forgiveness. I was recently reading a book on dignity by Donna Hicks from Harvard University. Again, this trend towards looking at what's happiness, what is spirituality within mediation. So that type of approach, and research and discussion on those type of topics, which I believe are genuinely universal.
Look, like you said spirituality. So there is a symposium that I did on heart, soul, spirituality, and mediation. So you can at least look, for me, it is more about people talking about it. The theoretical aspect of it, whatever people pick up from there is up to them, but it's all about conversations on the topic. So we've had very interesting conversations on that, but how will you find let me see what year that was done. I think it was in 2022, I think. If you go to on the website, you go to Edutainment 2022. So there you'll find the symposium.
I have the website with me now.
This one, if you go to this section here.
Alfredito.
2022.
Alfredito, that was the book that we all have to read, The Dignity, that's supposed. ¿Te acuerdas? Que quedamos que íbamos a leer el libro en la reunión de la Ximena.
Claro, yo lo he leído y lo he dado en clases, inclusive.
Buenísimo. Yo estoy ahí todavía.
Es espectacular. It's a great book. It's a great book.
I tell you
And
what,
Jorge is a friend of us. He's more senior than us, but he's a very good friend. He worked on the translation of the book. So the book was translated by Jorge.
so, okay, so basically this is that symposium. So you'll find the link
Okay,
here.
let me see. Yeah.
Then what you can do is the other topics which we've covered in the World Mediators Conference. If you click on this link, so you'll find the various topics. I mean, there is like I said, 80 plus topics. But look, I tell you, Alfredo, how I look at it on the theory part of it is that things that you have experienced and they are all inside you. Theory connects you to that, puts words into your experience. That's how I look at it. So you connect with it, you enjoy it, but it's all because it is your experience put into very good words by some people who can put things into good words. But it's all experienced by you. It is part of you at all points of time. This is how I look at it.
That's interesting. Yes.
And that's why people connect with it, because it's all there in them. They've always thought about it, but they didn't have the words to express it, maybe. That's, I mean, that's my concept of it. Everyone, I'm sure, has their thought. So now what we have to decide is, okay, how are we going to go about it? So that's one circle. Then we have the college one, school one. How are we going about it? Are you going to send a message out to everyone that this circle is happening and fix a date for that? Okay, how do you want to go about it?
Yes, I was thinking, and if you agree, we could start by topics, and I got some ideas of many topics we could talk about, reflecting and inviting people that could talk about these topics. One additional topic I was thinking about, and I got a person that can also talk. Well, I got two persons that could talk about this. Is also reflection about community mediation here in Ecuador, because it's also very interesting how indigenous cultures work very good practices in certain aspects of their communitarian relations and conflict solving inside their communities. So I think that could also be very interesting. Obviously, selecting the correct culture, that's very interesting to work about.
But
So I could do like choose some of the topics and the people that could start joining us in the circles, and send you the ideas so we can discuss and start the process further on.
yeah, well, because the thing is that the indigenous peoples and mediation, we've had a symposium on that. So have a look at this also, because people from around the world have given their thoughts on that. And then when we create that, the Ecuador Indigenous People Mediation Circle, we'll have we can organize a symposium for them only. So we can have a symposium on.
The interesting thing is we at some point join good, like from the perspective of the I forgot the word.
Spanish is okay.
Yeah, but I don't even remember it in Spanish.
You remember in Quechua.
Quechua, okay, Quechua will do any of
the mindset of the person. It's important from the perspective of the mindset. You get very good perspective of people that are not necessarily mediators, but can approach to this mindset. So that's what I want to reach from that perspective. Not talk about specifically indigenous mediation, but bring the mindset to the discussion. That's specifically what I would want.
That's exactly what our focus will be. Bring that mindset. That's all, and that's what we're doing. Reaching out and finding out who has that mindset, and bring those people in. And then when those conversations happen, it might not be that whole theoretical part of it, but this will be practical, and that people will connect with. So I think that that's why these conversations, I've tried to put all of them out there. There's so many, almost 800 now.
Yeah, I think kind of like bring the peace.
You need time. You need both, that the people have time to do the work. So maybe they have the mindset, but they don't have the time. So
But what we want is that the right people should be able to practice this only. We have to create those opportunities with people with the right mindset to be brought in, and then if we can actually on the grassroots level create that culture and connect them with the right people, I think, I mean, as we go along, we'll see. That's why I'm saying that if each of one of you can actually talk to one school, one college, one community, one organization, and maybe if some issue that is close to your heart, on that issue, then how can we create a mediation circle around it? Let's see what thoughts come in. Because for me, the idea was that let's just throw this question out everywhere. Who are those people who help other people resolve disputes? Could be, like I said, in any place, community, organization, school, college, wherever. Let's bring those people into the next gathering who are actually doing it, and people who have experienced resolution through them. And let them talk about it, because it'll be in very simple terms. It won't be it's not like that whole theoretical part. Not in that way. They'll talk about their story. So that is something that people will connect with to start with. Okay, this is something that I have also faced. Okay, I do know this person, or I don't know this person, but I'm looking for someone who can do it. So someone is available to them right there in that school or college or community. It's right there. So I just wanted that one conversation to happen. So I mean, how, if I don't know whether Gabriel, did you send a message out to you sent a message out to people on this at some point of time? You said Gabriel sent something.
Gabriel?
Gabriel, you said the message saying that you had drafted it in Spanish. We were talking about it, and you said I'll send it out. Do you know someone who has helped people resolve disputes
Yeah,
or
we had
fights?
it. We had it, and we chat with, maybe in the chat with Gabby.
But did you send it out?
I'm going to look for it.
You didn't send it out. Send it out. Now, what is the problem? All your WhatsApp groups, friends, everywhere.
I don't want to become a spammer.
Spamming, you're helping people. You're helping people.
People are going to block me, and I'm nice, and I don't want to lose my friends.
He wants to get best friends.
How are we going to grow the circle if you're going to think like this?
You
just
overthink.
No, because some people like you.
Okay,
You
this is
kind of know
this is
who's
where
in
the
and who's
resistance
not
is.
in.
This is where the resistance is. I think that's the resistance to how do we approach people. It's just one question that you're asking them. That's all. Do you know anyone who helps people resolve their disputes? That's simple. Or not disputes, fights, disagreements, misunderstanding, in whatever way you want to say it. Can you even just send that one message out to a friends group who will not block you, who don't mind? Then also then we send it out to those through the dean. If you can connect to that college, we're just sending that one question out to that college. Those names that you get, you'll be very happy when you meet those children and those people in community. You'll be very happy meeting them because they have the
We're
mindset.
gonna be happy meeting them. I agree. I just don't think that WhatsApp message is the way. I think that maybe like going to colleges and talking to people and asking them in person, because there are already people that are interested and not going to think that you're a spammer. But if you just get to everyone, they're going to say, "Oh God, you're talking about mediation again. Oh my
No, we're
God."
not going to talk about mediation. That's what I said. We are never going to go. Starting point is never going to even tell them about mediation. Our starting point is, do you know someone
How
who
do
helps
you?
other people resolve? That's our question. Once we get the person, they will talk about their experience. Then when we tell them what they did is mediation, that's when we get the word in. That's when we connect them. That's the stage when they now connect the process with the person. And that's how you can actually build that whole connection with the process, with the right people. There's no use going out even promoting mediation if you don't have the right people, because it's not, I mean, their experience will not, the user experience has to be good, and if the user experience is good, they'll take it further. So it's just about identifying the right people with that one question. Is so you'll be surprised when you get the answer.
In the school that Mila and I are working right now and starting to work, next week is the first approach. We developed ¿cómo se dice encuesta? Estoy tonta.
Survey.
A survey,
Survey.
thank you. And online, so all people in, like, all students can go online and tell who the people that help them are. So that's a way that, like, they have to do it. They're in school and their teachers say you have to answer the survey, then we'll get some names.
Perfect. That's on the school basis and the
But they're
college
not going to
basis.
block me, so I'm fine.
But what about people around you who can then ask other people, and that's how we can get more people into the fold? But look, getting mediators in, there are first of all issues that you people will also face is that training would have put out mediators. But do you want all of them to be part of it? Because you'll have your issues into whether they actually have the mindset or do they have a qualification. So that part of it you'll have to only by when you interact with people will get to know. So that according to me is yes, you'll find good people, but if the user is telling you something, who better than that? Yes or no? Gabby, any thoughts?
No, not so far. Let's start with something.
No, do you
That's-
have resistance? Do you have resistance in asking people this question?
No, that's the reason Roque is here and Alfredito's here and Francisco was here and Lucia. We
No,
don't have a
No, this is in the mediation world, but in terms of sending it out to your friends
Yeah.
or family, is there resistance in doing that? Just a message out to your friends and family or other people that you connected with who are out of the mediation world. Is there an issue, Roque? Anything on that? You think?
No, I love that. I've done it before and I really like it. I started long ago in the pandemics. I started talking with people about peace culture, and I was doing what you said, like start even joining people that I haven't contacted for a very long time, but I started to know that they were helping other people with good practices of communication and dialogue and uh, building community. So I think there's a very interesting opportunity in doing that in our country because there's much more people that are acting in a good way than we really think there are. So there's lots to explore. I think that's that's like a very nice opportunity
Yeah.
to explore and learn.
And the best part about that is, Roque, is that when you bring them into a conversation and we record that conversation, and then when we send it out, people should know these people. They have to be valued. And which is what doesn't happen because they normally are not the sorts who even want to speak about what they do. It's a way of life for them. But when you put them out and other people listen to it, that's the idea of the circle is that all these good conversations with good people putting out their thoughts, let that reach out. That good energy that comes out of it will bring in more good energy, and that's how we have a community within a community of people who have that thought process. And we feel that once we have that larger collection of good energy, it will start influencing the not so good energy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree because sometimes also the people that are givers in the mindset of a giver are not normally that popular, no?
Absolutely.
And that's interesting because you can also expose good practices by by this way of acting or doing things.
Perfect. So look, Roque is there. He's got exactly what I'm saying. So Gabby, please, you've got it all right here. How do we do that, Roque? How do we get them to take
It's
that
not
initiative?
nice to
They know.
compare, Vikram. That's
You
not
know,
nice.
it's very nice.
How did they taught you that?
It's
It's
very
not nice
nice.
to compare.
Very nice. Now that he's going to push you in taking that first step because he's done it and he knows those people are there. That's how.
I-
But
you see,
we
Roque,
brought Roque, so we get the start too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good.
Obviously.
but Gabri, now Roque, he has to push us. Remember
Yes.
that.
I will push him.
Yes. Exactly.
I will
That
We
push
is
want
him.
the
our
point.
start too. We want our start too. We
Because
have
I'm
Roque
sure
here.
you know lots of people that you haven't asked.
Exactly. That is the point, Gabriel. That is the point.
Please, thankfully, this session is recorded, so be aware, Roque.
You have to
Okay,
go
so
to the origin,
People,
Vikram.
I am sure.
but let me just say, look, if I don't know if Carolina is still this Carolina Lanza, she's saying I'm from Argentina. We have to launch the Argentina Mediation Circle. So please, Carolina, join that. Samar Jyot is there. Very true. Practical training is must for the students. So yes, practical here I'm saying practical training in the sense here students are actually bringing in work for the mediators. They are going out into the families and communities and asking people if they have disputes. They are trying to help them if they can, but they're bringing in mediators in. So they're learning on the job. Yeah. So I think we've got the direction going. Now, Roque is going to push both of you to send out that one message. That one message has to go out. That's all. So, but Alfredo, what about organizations? In organizations that you work with in terms of your practice, can we ask them to create a mediation circle in their organization?
I'm not very inclined to bring in unsolicited messages to people I work with or my clients. It's a matter of perhaps it's a cultural matter, or it's also it's something around the the usages on commercial matters and privacy. So it's something that perhaps we need to discuss locally and think about what are good approaches. But yes, going through university is a very good way of doing this. Going through the mediation centers, going through the bar association, the attorneys association, the Colegio de Abogados. I mean, there are ways of reaching other people. And yeah, perhaps there's also the chambers of commerce and there are ways to reaching organizations and reaching businesses and promoting this. This is something that I wouldn't do with myself directly. I would like to think of the most efficient way that also will be consistent with my way of approaching my personal legal practice also.
Yeah, no, I know in the sense that that general question, not to go out to people that you are connected to professionally. I'm not saying that. What I'm thinking is that even with one organization, a mediation circle can be created. We want to, that's what, I mean, it's a professional activity that here is, I mean, an external person who's available to the organization as, it's like, I keep saying this is like a general physician. So you go to a general physician, you have a mediator who's linked to that organization, and people can, if there's a workplace dispute. Now they don't want to go through the hierarchy of the organization because there are issues there. I mean, they don't want to contact HR also. But if they have an option of an external mediator whom they go to, they know that everything that happens there is confidential. That person can directly bring in whoever the issue is with and get them together and try to resolve it there. Because look, what this came out from was the whole concept of the ombuds. There are ombuds. Now, the issue with the ombuds was that they were doing such a wide variety of activity. Mediation was only one part of it. And some of them were not really mediators. So the idea was, let's take out the mediation part of it out of this activity. Let that be an organizational mediator instead of the larger organization or ombuds. So I had a lot of conversations with ombuds. You can find that again on the website. You'll find the link. So you can just search on YouTube, Mediator Vikram Ombuds. Because what I did was, one, ombuds, a Swiss Army knife. There are too many things that they do. And here is a more specialized activity, and that is what needs to go out. So organizational media to be created, even in one organization, if it is done, that can be the model for other organizations. I mean, if you don't want to do it, maybe you feel that you don't want to be the organization mediator, we can bring in someone else. I mean, this people, Gabriela, Roque is there, so many people. We can bring them in and say, okay, for this organization, create that circle there. So one is they're available to the organization, yes, but they're also at the same time asking that question within the organization to bring those people together. And then if the skill development, whatever needs to be done, will be done, but also bring in a whole community within the organization who feel that, yes, things should be resolved amicably, and how they can contribute to it. So it's like I keep saying, it's a community within a community developing that way. And the whole culture changes, conversations change, the way you approach each other changes, collaboration and all that happens. So even if we do it in one organization, we pick up one, and then that can always be something you can tell people, okay, it's done there, this is how it's done. And we'll also, I mean, we'll evolve as we go along, we'll refine the whole thing. But I feel that that is something which is an immediate, one is it gives work to mediators. That's the first thing. They're available as outsourced mediators.
So
Any
I
thought?
think that Alfredo has to take his homework and think, because at the same time, it's the first time that he hears that he has to do some homework.
Yes.
So let's let him like digest what's going on first,
Process,
and
yeah.
then we can ask for Alfredo's ideas.
I'm just throwing it out, everything on him, because he said, look, chambers of commerce, definitely, every chamber of commerce should have a mediation circle. So all their members should have that, getting them together. And again, but again, developing capacity from those business communities itself. That for me is the important thing. That's why that question comes out even there. Because in the business community, people know who those people with that mindset are. So, but Gabby wants to leave. Gabby?
Yeah, yeah, I am.
Okay, so
Mediation
one thing what we're doing is, what we need to do is only to fix up for specifics now. The college mediation circle, the reflective practice mediation circle, they have separate sessions. We'll have separate sessions for those. So people who are interested in that one area, let them come in for that. Can we send that message out? Or we have to still bring in more people and then do that? How do you want to go about it?
Which college are you going to approach? Gaby, or-
We were thinking about la UTLA, donde está el Jorge Alegría, Universal
Yeah.
Los Hemisferios, el Roque con la Católica y la San Francisco con el Jaime.
Y el Juan Páez iba a llamar yo para la, ajá, también.
O sea, el,
Porque
el
la
Roque.
mediación seguro tiene un montón de chicos que están contactados y entusiasmados. ¿Tú también
Ya.
estás ahí, Roque?
Yo soy
Católica?
mediador, sí. Yo soy mediador en la Católica.
Ya.
Ajá.
De una. O sea, las universidades que se les hubiera ocurrido a ustedes también.
Ya.
Sí, bueno, yo tengo también en esto el contacto con la UTLA y bueno, yo soy profesor a tiempo completo, entonces también podemos trabajar
El
a través
Jorge, ¿no? El Jorge ahí con
de
la
ese
UTLA.
sistema. Sí, el Jorge
We're
pero
talking about the colleges, Vikram.
el Jorge en
El
el CIAL,
CIAL.
pero yo tengo el contacto con el decanato.
Ok, buenas.
¿Y hemisferios con quién están hablando?
¿El
Ministerios.
Teodomiro sigue ahí?
De los hemisferios. El
Ministerios
tío
¿Sigue el Teodomiro ahí?
Sí, y fue su cumpleaños de
Yo
ayer.
pensaba llamar al Teodomiro.
Ya, perfecto.
¿O
Buena
quieres
idea.
que te llamemos a ti? ¿Estás ahí?
No, buena idea con Teodomiro, me parece perfecto. Sí.
Bueno, yo me despido. I have to go.
Why?
Mediation.
We were just
So,
organizing the people that we have to talk to in each of the colleges.
Perfect. And that's what you should do. You should just break out into Spanish. That's the right way to do it.
Thanks.
We're sorry, we speak in Chinese.
We will do. We will
So,
learn.
yeah.
I
but
want to learn Japanese. That's very
no, but I think the important thing with the schools and colleges is just to get them to just talk about those experiences they've had. It's very nice to listen to that, and also get other people, other colleges to listen to them, because they have that. I mean, they have the similar issues also sometimes, but they also know that yes, this is someone that does this. Okay, I know this person. Let's bring that person in. So that's how we will grow in terms of the people we bring in. Yep. So okay, any specific date you want to fix up for the reflective practice thing, or we just right now just bring in the community?
Let me send you a message in the chat next week and we can think about a date.
Yeah, or we want to just grow the circle first and then do that.
Yeah.
So let's bring in more people and into the circle, and that's, like I said, when this question goes out, or in general you get to know more people, just bring them in and let's get the right people in, and things will grow.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So the whole idea was, what we have the last Friday of the month, first Friday of the month, right?
Yep. Correct.
So Alfredo, first Friday of the month, same time.
okay. Okay.
So,
Yes. That could be.
so which means the next one is on the 1st of March, right? But before that, yeah.
That's good.
Ah, because it's Friday, right?
Yes. But we'll keep our communication going. We'll bring in people. We'll send out the information to them. People will talk to people. We'll have at least get them into the WhatsApp group. Maybe we'll send out information on each of the topics, because if there is someone interested in school mediation, at least that launch, they can watch that recording. At least they know, get an idea there. At least there is enough material out there for people to watch.
That's good.
Yep.
Okay.
So any last thoughts, Alfredo? Anything?
No, I think we're fine. We will. I still need to understand a little bit more about the process and the objectives of the circle.
What I tell with Vikram is that he should let you guys leave one of the circles that he has, because that's like what made Gabi and I fell in love with the circles. Like I was in I don't know, in Medianos. I was in the Medianos one. That was cool. And I've watched some others, so that's where you say, oh, that's really cool, and you can engage other people by telling them that you experienced this. So I think that it's important for Vikram to send us cool links too.
Yeah. Right now the focus that activity has happened. So many of those have happened. Now the activity is, let's create those circles in every country and every school, college. Let's focus on that. And then bring in those like-minded people. So if there is, say, school mediation circles, so then we have those people who are working on school mediation circles everywhere. So let's bring those people. Now it's a little more specialized, the activity. Then, of course, the larger World Mediation Circle, we will all get together and we will definitely talk about our experiences there. But you know that now it's a focused approach on getting to the ground and working on the ground. But we'll still have our now the difference is that these up till now everything was a global level. All these symposia were international symposia, but now we have to create the Ecuador ones. So the Ecuador Indigenous Peoples Symposium we'll have. Then we'll have the Ecuador School Mediation Circle, a symposium or a conference. We can do that. So now let's get a little more specialized, Gabriela. Is that all right? What do you think?
Yes.
We'll do the other ones also. We'll do the global ones also, the events. That World Mediators Conference is coming up that one is definitely in May. So that will be a place where everyone definitely interacts with each other. And we'll do some other events in the middle. But you can see my back-to-back. If you saw the event list, which is coming up in February, back-to-back, there are all these circles being launched or gatherings of circles happening. Because once you launch them, then you have to have the gatherings also. So it's going to be a back-to-back just on this aspect. Right? But I think Roque will enjoy that part when specific area, when he says reflective practice, when people from all over come in for that particular aspect. I think you'll enjoy that specialized area, I think. Yeah. So thank you very much. And
thank you.
See you on the 1st of March, definitely. But before that, also, Alfredo, I think we still have to give him the larger picture. Alfredo, the larger picture is not clear, you saying? Is that
Yeah,
that's
but
the situation?
I will speak with Gabri and Gabi and Roque, and they will coach me a little bit more about the.
So I'm always available anytime. We can have a conversation about the larger picture. But have a look at the website. I put out some things.
I've seen that, and I had this open already. Yeah.
The World Mediation Circle, I put out more thoughts because there is a larger picture also there. Right now, we're just bringing those circles together, but those circles are communities within communities of people who can actually have dialogue in relation to resolving issues. So it's not just individuals, it's actually the community itself also creates that culture. This is a community within a community. So these people are actually, okay, you have activism and advocacy groups. Think of this as a community which believes in dialogue, consensus building. So that you've created a community there. And they come in issues which could be local issues, national issues, and of course global issues also. So they come in to be able to take it from that perspective, because all these areas of activism, advocacy, all that has been happening. That definitely has been happening. but is this space available for people to where the objective conversations can happen? But that's not promoted, because divide and rule has been the way things have gone about it, which is where the politics part of it, if you read there, over time, then you redefine politics by you looking at consensus building instead of that whole divide and rule that has happened. So it's not promoted, because that's the way even politicians have taken advantage of things over in every country. Is how do we divide people? Who's bringing people together? Whose purpose does it serve to bring people together?
Mhm.
Because okay, activists may be funded, whatever happening on that background, so they have something to gain out of it. Advocacy groups do, but a group like us coming and sitting together and having a conversation, whose purpose is this serving? We are just trying to do some good and getting people, bringing in and seeing that yes, they can resolve their conflicts. So yes, of course, people in the circle will also have to earn money. So we are promoting mediation. So work is going to come there, but that's what we are all about. But then we have specific issues we discuss, like that group Israel-Palestine Mediation Circle was for a specific activity. Similarly, there'll be issues within Ecuador where you people can have a conversation and people can see, yes, all points of views can be put together and people can understand each other. So it could be a small community doing it, but because it can be recorded and it can be sent out, people should know that, yes, this conversation can take place. Dialogue is a possibility. And that's how it grows. Some idea, Alfredo? I mean, we'll have another conversation. There is lots which I can tell you, but I mean, I take time for you. You can always have that conversation whenever. So,
Is
thank
it
you very
okay
much.
if on March we meet at 10 a.m. Ecuador time?
Totally your wish. 10 o'clock. Perfect.
¿Ustedes les parece?
Okay, muy bien, sí.
That's
Yeah.
perfect.
So we're here, we decide, right?
Right. So, the first Friday of the month, 10 o'clock Ecuador time.
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Great.
So
So
see you in March.
See you. Well, we should see each other before that also. Whenever the school thing comes up, we can always have a conversation. That's not a problem. We can always do that. But the circle meets on that day
Okay, so see you in March and before.
and before. Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
See you.
Perfect.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Nice to
Bye.
see you. Nice
Good to see you.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.